What's going on, filmmakers? I'm Alexandru and today I'm gonna take you behind the scenes on a TV jewelry commercial. And I know I shoot a lot of jewelry commercials, but this one is pretty cool.
Femeile sunt grațioase și puternice, asemenea unui diamant. Ele schimbă lumea pas cu pas.
Culto. Sărbătorim femeile remarcabile.
So, let me know what you think about this commercial. I personally love how it turned out. We got the chance to shoot the entire thing in a professional music studio and it was really cool. But let's go behind the scenes and let me show you the whole process of doing this commercial. So first thing first that we did, we got to the location and we started prepping up the set. And one thing that I don't usually tell this about myself is that I also do set design. And I know I haven't told this in my past videos, but on most of my commercials, I do set design as well. I don't know, I just love doing it. It is a pretty natural thing to do because if you do lighting, you also have to know a little bit of set design in order to make everything work together. So what we did here is that I looked around and I found a bunch of instruments which I wanted to use. And we were pretty lucky because our main actress is actually a professional singer and a pretty famous one in Romania, actually one of the famous ones. And she had her own van with her own gear right there for us to use any instruments from that van. So we pulled up a different set of drums, different kind of accessories and guitars and everything, and we placed them around the set so it looks really nice and it looks like she is actually recording her new song, which we actually used in the commercial. And then I started prepping out my camera so I can see exactly my field of view and how everything is looking even without lights. This is one thing that I do just to make sure exactly what I need and what I have to put. My main camera for this commercial was the Sony FX6 with the Sony G Master 50mm f1.2, and yes, I shot everything in 1.2 with the autofocus on from my Sony FX6. As a monitor, I used my Atomos Shinobi and I had a wireless connection from Dwarf Connection. And that was pretty much it. Pretty simple setup. I filmed everything handheld, and this is one of the things that I really love to do. So if you use a lot of slow motion in your commercial, if you use handheld, then your shots will be much more stable. And that's why I don't use gimbals or anything else, because I know that I'm gonna get stable shots because I'm shooting slow motion. Even though I can get stable shots even in real time, but when you shoot slow motion, everything gets more stable. So we're gonna start with the lighting that I used and why I used it. And I got something pretty cool for you today. I managed to build my entire set in Cinetracer, and I'm gonna show you exactly where I put my lights and why I put them. But let's start with the first light that I used. So I used a Nanlite MixPanel 150, and this light was mainly used to kind of fill up the room a little bit and have just a little bit of light so I can control a little bit better what we see in the background. Next, I used a lot of PavoTubes, and this is the new one, the 30X, and I set it on, even though in this shot is a little bit warmer, I set it on daylight because I wanted the whole set to feel a little bit colder and feel like more professional. I didn't want a lot of color contrast in this. So I put a little bit of PavoTubes here and there just to create some atmosphere and create some separation in the image. And I think it looked really nice. And then we soon after started shooting. And as you can see, I'm shooting handheld and I have a big softbox here. And actually, let's go inside Cinetracer and let me show you exactly everything I did in order to get this setup going. So this is my set, and this is how I put everything. So here is the camera placement, which was actually myself. And here is one of the softbox that we used on the Forza 500. So even though the Forza 500 was at around 20%, I still used it because it has a beautiful light, and in case I needed more, I have. And to make things a little bit better, so this was kind of my orientation, and to fill up the shadows from here, I had a bounce board that was actually helping me a lot. And in the background, we have the MixPanel 150, which is filling up the room a little bit. So it's making a little bit of light here. And here we have two small PavoTubes, and obviously I couldn't find PavoTubes in Cinetracer, but we have two PavoTubes that make a little bit of light on this instruments. And here in the back is that PavoTube II X that you see me put in the background. And I also had a PavoTube here, just a little bit more as a practical light. And I also had a PavoTube here placed on an L stand, which was giving me backlight. And this was pretty much my whole lighting setup, and it was pretty simple. And by the way, this one up top is a PavoTube 15X, the new one. And the beauty with these ones is that I can control them with my phone, so I don't have to go up there, try and change settings or anything like that. But pretty much this is the setup, and I think it turned out pretty nice. And I'm also really happy that I can show you my lighting setup from this Cinetracer. So that is really cool. So now that you know exactly how I lit up the entire set, I still want to go a little bit behind the scenes and show you some of my tips and tricks on how I shot this. So usually when I shoot women's faces, I like to light them from the front, just a little bit slightly to the right or to the left, but mainly our light has to be from the front so we can avoid hard shadows on their faces. And in this case, because we had dark walls, I didn't have reflection back from the walls or anything else, so that's why I used this bounce board, so it can bounce back a little bit of the light that comes from the side. So because I'm using a 50mm, I can bring all my lighting really close to the subject and don't see them in the shot. And we got some really beautiful portrait shots with the 50, which is one of my favorite lenses, obviously, because I'm using it on all of my commercials. And we also had some really creative shots where I used this new lens filter from Vaxis, and it's really nice that you can hold it in your hand and you can make some really beautiful in and out of focus. This one is a 2x diopter, which is a split diopter, so you can put it in front of your lens, and because the Sony is so good at autofocus, kind of keeps the subject in autofocus, so you can do a lot of crazy effects and the camera pulls out the autofocus really good. So now we're gonna analyze a little bit the footage that we shot with the kids, which were really easy to do, honestly. These kids are professionals, honestly. Usually when you work with kids, it's like super hard, but in this case, these guys do this every day. So it was really easy to work with them. They were super professional, and I think the shots turned out absolutely amazing. As you can see, I'm shooting handheld. I'm moving the camera without any worries, just because I'm shooting slow motion, and things turned out really good. Then we did a little bit of special effects shots. So I had a filter in front of my lens that makes a reflection look really nice, and we did that for the last shot where she opens up the box and we see the earrings, and I think it looks really cool because we also used the phone light to light up the rings, so we can have that sparkle going on. And by the way, the filter is from Prince Les Effects. Because you seen in the commercial we have two separate locations, and for this one I don't have it in Cinetracer because it's really simple. For this one, as a key light, we used the PavoTube, and we also had a little bit of a backlight, and we had some lights from the studio in the background, and it looked really cool. But as for the next shot where they look on the window, I had 2 PavoTubes, so really simple setup because all of my lighting was inside the studio. So I kind of had to improvise and used what I had because I didn't have a lot of lights left. So I used 2 PavoTubes to light the whole thing, and as you can see, it looks really good. It's had a lot of fun, and this was actually not scripted, so we said let's use that, and it worked out really nice. So yeah, overall, as you can see, pretty simple lighting setup, not too complicated in terms of like what to do. I just improvised a lot. Obviously, when it comes to faces, I try to light the face as good as possible, and in the background, usually I try to improvise and do whatever looks good on camera. Overall, I really love how this turned out, and let me know if you enjoyed this video and if it was helpful. If it was, please subscribe to my YouTube channel because this helps me a lot. I've really invested a lot of time in this channel, and I really wanted to grow a little bit bigger and have a little bit more success because I'm giving away a lot of free valuable information here, guys. And yeah, by the way, if you see there's a new desk here and a new setup, it actually is. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about this new table that I have in the upcoming videos because we did like a really cool video about how we build this. And obviously my setup is not done yet. I'm waiting for the studio displays to come, and I'm waiting for the Mac Studio and everything. And I don't know why it's taking so long. Here in Romania, everything is so slow when it comes to like new products and all that. But anyway, cheers guys, enjoy your day, and hopefully this video helped you.